Hi everyone, Dylan Warren, Team PPG FOE. Today I got a Boo deck profile for you. I'm pretty excited for. If you know me, Boo's my hands down favorite character in the game. I've been waiting for a Boo deck that we can play in the meta. This one, I don't know if I'd call it tier 1, but it's close. I wouldn't say it's one of the top 3 decks in the game, but it can beat all of the top decks in the game. And you can win an event with this. It's I wouldn't call it the best deck in the game. Not by a long shot. King Vegeta is the best deck, but this deck can compete with that King Vegeta deck. So I'll explain how and why and go through it. So front side, I like it because it's pretty unique. Swing, take top card of your deck, put it under your leader, draw 2 cards, activate main once. You can Spirit Boost, eat a battle card 4 drop or less from your opponent's drop, and you can gain 1 keyword skill off of for the turn. So not too often, but you can gain crit, you can gain double strike, which is pretty valuable. And like against blue, I like to eat their draw apes from the drop and things like that, so that they can't trigger them. And against like Dark Brawl, or you can't eat Dark Brawl. What am I saying there? But against certain black decks, you can eat pieces from their drop that they might need. And when he awakens, he untaps 1, draws 1. Backside, when he swings, he draws cards. Same Spirit Boost ability, except now you can eat from the field too, which is super relevant because it gives us board clear. And he has a very good activate main. You can pitch 2 cards under him. He has 5k till the start of your next main phase. Super relevant because he's 20k on our opponent's turn. So this really helps us against like the King Vegeta matchup because they're swinging 15k, 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 but we're 20k, so it's almost like we have a bean. So a lot of the times you want to save your cards underneath in that matchup and not necessarily Union Absorb until later in the game, and keep that 20k for defense. So the most important card in the deck is Ghost Token, or Majin Token, not Ghost Token, Majin Token. Ghost Tokens don't have combo power, Majin Tokens do. Finally, I have a reason to bust these out and use them. Makes me happy. We have 8 1-drop Union Absorb targets in the deck. These you just play depending on what you need. So this one, when you play, you search top 5 for a 5-drop or less Majin, and this one you just draw a card when it's played. So if you need a specific Majin, you play this one. If you need the like 2-drop negate or the 5-drop board wipe, if you're tutoring for like an SCR or just super combos, you play this one because this can't grab those. You can Union Absorb by taking a card from under your leader, play it on him, and you go into the 4-drop. We'll see that one in a second. This is the card you can absorb. Be conscious of how many of these are in your deck. You don't want to fail to find. You can also Union Absorb from drop. So this one, when you take a battle card from under your leader, you go into this guy. He's a 15k. When one of you could Spirit Boost 1, make a Ghost Token, limit 1. So even if you have multiple copies, you can only do it once. And then permanent, if this card would be played by a skill, you can kill a Ghost Token instead. Super relevant, keeps them on play. You don't care if the Ghost Token dies as much because you could just make another Ghost Token on the next turn. If you get a bunch of these in play, something that's important to think about is you can combo them off. So swing, combo with 1, so you can Union Absorb from the drop again. So just be conscious of how many you have in deck and drop. Don't waste your pieces under your leader and Union Absorb into nothing. 2 of this one. He's not as good because you can't Union Absorb into him, even though the Bandai site said you could. I guess, I don't know if they read their own cards all the time. But anyway, he comes in for 2. You put a card from your drop under one of your other green battle cards in play. And when he comes into play, he absorbs one of your opponent's battle cards under this card. This card's played for you. You play a Majin Token and choose one of your opponent's battle cards, place it under this card. So that's relevant because like I played against Bulma playing the red Gogeta package, and their battle cards can't be KO'd, but this can eat them and take them. And also like the 5-drop Vegeta that goes in King Vegeta, where it's really pesky to get over, and if you KO or lose by a skill, you crit a life. But if you steal it, the ruling is that you're the master of the skill and they crit the life. So this card has its value. You either side it out or you side it in based on the matchup. If you're playing a deck that plays those cards that you need to eat, you side in more, and if not, you take it out. And he also has the skill where if you'd be removed by a skill, you can kill a Ghost Token instead. So he comes into play, plays a Ghost Token, and then gives himself protection. This one is just like the red Topo. With the non-foil one on the end, I got one more coming in. Cost 2, negates, pitch a card from your hand. So the nice part is if they counter this, you don't have to pitch the card, and then for the rest of the turn, your opponent has to pitch 2 cards from their hand if they attack. Very defensive card, lets us survive. Floodgate negates are amazing, and I think you typically need them in most decks if you can fit them. The thing that makes him better than Topo, in my opinion, is he has the Union Absorb, so on our turn, we can Union Absorb battle card underneath and go into our 15k Absorb guy. So not only does he stop our opponent's turn, he has a chance to turn into an Absorb piece after, which is very relevant in this deck. For the last, well, not the last boo, but the last part of the new set 14 chain we play, the 5-drop, 2 of, you don't really need more. We side one more for blue, but he's Deflect Revenge. When he comes into play, you choose all battle cards in unisons other than him and place them in a drop, and your opponent chooses 2 cards in their hand and you put them under your leader. So it gives your leader more fuel, and it is hand control. When he's in rest mode, if your opponent swings at your leader while he's in rest mode, they have to pitch 2 cards from their hand, and they could counter him with Charismatic Villain. They can't counter him with Godspeed Revenge, but his ability is if you have 5 or more energy and this card is placed in your drop area for battle area by opponent's skill, you play it from your drop area. So very relevant. So if the Charismatic Villain kill him, he just comes right back into play. So the best 2 probably free counterplays in the game, God Sealing Technique and Charismatic, don't really do anything to this card. Very relevant, good late game enders. I love cards that can kill unisons. I changed my SCR, and I'll tell you why after. Bobbity, he's 1-drop. If you have a battle card with Servant skill in play, your opponent cannot attack this card. So the idea is you're going to give this battle card Servant Union Absorb into it. You're going to swing. It's going to be a 25k, and they can't attack this, so it protects it. He loses the Servant at the beginning of your turn, and sometimes you can draw off it. So once per turn, when you do Spirit Boost on this card gains Overlord. So there are times where we just have a need to draw, and instead of leaving the Overlord in rest to protect him, we do an Overlord to +1. Depends on how much board you have and how much you need to draw, but it's nice to have it. And the +2 is you choose up to one of your green Majin Buu cards that originally costs 15k or less in rest mode, and you give it Servant for the turn. So you can do it on these 2. You typically want to do it on the Union Absorb, but I've done it on like these ones, and it still makes them 14k's, which it's like turn 2. Sometimes your opponent's not awakened, and it's still good protection for the unison either way. But typically you want to do it on that Union Absorbed one. This is probably the better unison to play. I was playing a 4-4 split because you don't want to whiff on a unison, and then your opponent's going to try to kill your unison to stop you from spirit boosting consistently. So what's nice is when they waste 3 or 4 swings into your unison, and then you just have another one. So that's why we main deck 7. I'm on the bubble of main decking 8. Just because they swing into your unison so much, it's really detrimental to them if they waste so many swings into your unison and you just have another. So once per turn, when you activate a union skill, you draw a card. This is super relevant because Union Absorb is a union skill. So your ideal curve, you play one of these like turn 1, draw a card, play this on 2, Union Absorb, draw an extra card, and then from there, as long as this is staying on the board, you can consistently draw 2 cards per turn with your lead in this, and drawing 2 cards per turn gives you a lot of advantages. +2 gives all your mono green battle cards Revenge. Sometimes that's relevant, not always. And the -7 is a good finisher. You look at your opponent's life, discard a card, and then they discard 3 cards, or you discard 3 random from their hand. So that is one of your things versus blue. So they don't have a lot of aggression, and especially if you keep like your floodgate negates open to protect this, a lot of the times they can't stop the -7 from coming unless they have some kind of tech for it. But a lot of times that -7 is a good kill versus blue decks that stall you. Right now I'm playing the Paragus Super Combo. This could be the Gohan as well. when you combo with it, you draw 2. The one thing I like is that it's always 10k, so green doesn't really have a good answer to 10 drop Fu if you get there. You don't want to get there, but if you do, I like that it's 10k even without the ability, while the Gohan that bottom decks and draws to is a 0k that becomes a 10. So there's sometimes where you get the 10 drop Fu played on you and you can survive because of that fact, where the Gohan you might not be able to live. Okay, so this is a meta choice. So normally I wouldn't play 3 dormant potential, especially since this deck's kind of aggro. But as some of you might know, King Vegeta is a very popular deck, maybe the best deck, and in my opinion, the best deck in the meta right now. So we need to survive. So basically, if we can get to like mid to late game, we're pretty fine against that deck. We can keep becoming a 20k, and we can flood out board with ghost tokens and stuff, and we can kill them. We need to survive turns 1 and turn 2. So one way we do that is turn 1, we dormant potential, save this for the crit swing. Don't waste this on leader or a non-crit. Wait till they swing with like a crit Bardock, just take the other ones, kill it, and then survive till turn 2. And then if you live till turn 2 without having to awaken, now we can start recovering and playing the game. Another card that helps us do this is Protector of the People. Again, this is a meta choice. King Vegeta is just such an oppressive, prevalent deck. If you can't beat it game 1, you're always in rough shape, right? Like, if you don't have answers to beat that deck game 1, you're probably just going to lose game 1, and then you're climbing uphill from game 2 against a really good deck. So we're main decking 3 Protector of the People. So the idea is, as long as you see one of these on turn 1, either this or this can stop your opponent's turn, save them both for the crit swings, don't use them on leader swings or other stuff, just take that damage because it'll still go to your hand. One of the decks that annoys us is probably Blue Baby. So we're going to main deck 2 Breakthrough Skill. The reason is we go very, very wide in this deck. We can have, 5-6 ghost tokens plus a bunch of battle cards. We don't like cards like Topo, Baby Gohan, Flood Negate negates that end the turn. So this, when your life's 4 or less, you pay 1, card cost 3 or less coming into play, is putting the drop instead. So if they Baby Gohan, somebody Topos you, you stop, they'll still counter the attack, but you stop the effect for the turn, so you can keep swinging with all your 15Ks. I don't really like normally mainboarding these cards, but those matchups can get really obnoxious, and we want to have an answer to it game 1. This also helps versus blue. So part of the logic of this card is because we play cards that pitch cards from our hands, so our Dormants and our Protector of the People. So, if you discard a card from your hand, well, you just -1. But if we're pitching the Ribrianne as the card, now we can get value from the card we pitch, pay 2, make them pitch 2 cards from their hand, and now losing cards from hand from these cards really isn't as bad if we're pitching the Ribrianne. I was doing draw apes, but part of the thing is dormant potential needs a green card. So even though I like drawing, 1, this helps versus blue, and you can slide into the draw apes game 2. Also, it gives you the pitch for dormant, whereas the draw ape does not. It works for protector, but not dormant. Probably the second best free counterplay in the game. Freezes Charismatic's villain. If you have a unison 2 or more markers, you play it for free, and you kill something. Battle costs 7 or less. Battle card does not ignore barriers. So you have to play these free negates if you're playing unisons. It's the second best one in the game, in my opinion. God Sealing is probably the best. But this one, if you've got the unisons in there, you should probably be playing 4 in any deck that runs it. This card is a very sneaky kill card. It's very good. Limit 1. For 1 green, if you have 3 more energy and a green unison card in play, you can play this for 1. So it's already a 1-drop 15k. That's already good. Then activate main, you can Spirit Boost X. For every counter you remove, he gains 5k. Remove 1, he becomes 20. Remove more, he becomes 25, 30, and if you remove at least 2, he gets double strike. So a lot of times I kill people with this card. I was running Champa, but instead of combo Champa, you just play this for 1 for the double strike anyway. Very good, and then it stays on board after the turn too. It doesn't go away. Very good kill card. One of these, my second one actually just came in the mail, so I might work in a second one of this. Again, helps in the blue matchup. Indestructible, kill one of your 5 or less. Usually you're going to do your charismatic villain, but you can do like a 1-drop and a 4-drop boo as well. 20k, every time he swings, they discard a card from their hand. This helps versus blue with hand control. The only one that this really isn't good against is red, because they can minus it, and when they minus, it can get around indestructible. So against red, you sideboard this out, but against green mirror and blue decks, this card's very good. I'm debating on if I go to 2 in the main, or 1 in the main, 1 in the side. Either way, you just take it out versus red. It's very good against everything else. Another one of S4 Bardock fighting against Fades, just 25k dual attack, Overwhelm 6. We need to have an Overwhelm slot. We're too fast, really, for 10-drop Foo. We're not going to get there every game. So this is probably the right play. Just gives us a big body, free battle card. Very good. I feel like anytime you can fit you should have at least 1 Overwhelm slot in most decks in the game. At least 1, if not more, depending on how much you feel to drop. And then our Secret Rare, I was playing the one from the new set. I like stealing unisons. I like being defensive. But one of the things in testing, again, blue was just fairly obnoxious for me to deal with. So for that matchup, we go with this guy. He's counter. If you have 3 or more energy on a non-leader card swing, you counter, and then you play this 40k double strike. So if you catch them tapping out for like a baby Gohan and blue baby, you pay this, they tap down their last energy, you counter, now you have a big body, they're not floodgate negating you anymore, and it's Majin Buu, so it's on theme. I like the other SCR, but just for that blue matchup, it's so pesky, I feel like we need to have that. I wasn't going to do the sideboard, because I wasn't done tweaking it, but what the heck, I'll throw it in. I'll grab the other one because it literally just came in the mail. So this is going to be worked in somewhere. The 1 extra Zamasu. It's either going in the main or the side. One or the other. But this second Zamasu is going to find its way, somehow in there. And I traded the second one I had, and then I realized I wanted another second one. So I picked it up. 2 Jiren. One game I lost in actually testing at locals, the Turning the Tide Gogeta deck, but granted I hadn't changed up the list yet, so I didn't have like the breakthrough skills and the counter SCR, and then I got Turning the Tide, and I didn't have my sideboard built yet. Normally I always have these in the sideboard, but that stops Turning the Tide. If they played against it, they pretty much lose to you at that point. Draw 8 just in case you need it, in case you play against hand destruction, or a more long matchup where you need to draw. One more 5-drop Boo. This is probably against blue because you're probably guaranteed going to see the 5 energy and you want to clear their unison. Very good card, and it's hand control. 2 of these, one of these might become where that is, but these are just in there because we really don't have a main deck card that really kills barrier. So this can pitch 2 and kill a battle card greater than your opponent's energy, ignoring barrier. And it can also deflect. You can play 2 Child's Army tokens, and then you can make them 15k. So it's kind of like Obuni for blue. Really, it's just because we don't have a lot of battle card control. So 3 Bardocks. This is for blue decks that play the Bojack package, or decks that play Arrivals. Yeah, they can just combo another piece, but this really hurts if like you play into blue-yellow and they combo a card and they need to go into their Bojack Arrival and you kill it. Now they need to pitch another blue-yellow. It can be very, very pesky, and for King Piccolo as well. This really swings a lot of matchups that rely on Arrivals and playing cards on through the combo step drastically. We've got one more breakthrough skill. This is for the blue matchup, or decks that are main decking like 4 Topo, or even green if they're playing the blue Boo negate. This helps stop those floodgates. One more of these. Again, for the slower matchups, that -7 is a very, very good kill play. So against blue, I really like taking out a Bobbity and going to a 4th one of this. So we can try to kill with that. One more of these, just in case we're playing against a deck where we want to eat a battle card. This comes in. If not, it's an easy side out for 2 of those, so 2 things that are better for your matchup. And 2 big or more. This is for Dark Brawly. You really only need to see maybe one or two of these in that matchup, because realistically, we put so much pressure on. If we could stall for like 1 or 2 turns without them really being able to attack, usually that's enough to win the game versus Dark Broly. So you really just need to see 1 to 2 big or more and stall their turn out long enough for you to kill on the crackback. So one of those cards will probably become Vizamasu at some point. You can tweak it yourself. If you want to see what I do to update that, you can shoot me a message, let me know. As always, follow the channel and look out for more content from us.